What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
How was your weekend?
It was excellent. How was yours?
It was good. Thank you for asking.
Always a pleasure to ask you about your weekend. You asked me about my weekend, Daddy.
We're the weekend boys.
We're the weekend boys.
Weekend boys?
Weekend
Not you too, Mike.
boys.
Weekend boys.
Over here, of course, he's the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Weekend boys unite, man. Great weekend.
You had a great weekend, too.
Great to hear you guys had a good weekend, you know. The come down off of Halloween. You know what I mean?
Tough
It's
one.
like
Can be tough.
Halloween's
Tough one.
Thursday. You get jazzed up on candy, all the cool costumes. It's like, how do you rebuild on the weekend? Because it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And, you know, you only get 52 weekends in a year, Tim. It's
true.
Got to make them count.
What did you do?
I went to a hockey game. Had some laughs.
In Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, up in Lake Tahoe. Spent some father-son time.
Yeah,
You're
Big
getting
Mike?
a lot of it. You know, me and Big Mike out on the grill, sleeping on the couch, watching football. You know, it was just a good hangout weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of dudes.
Just a couple of dudes.
Couple of
what
dudes.
are Snowbike Mike's tips? All right, you have a very
Yeah.
good relationship with your father, it seems.
Yeah.
We've never actually spoken about it. But you guys hang out, you call him Big Mike. He's
Uh-huh.
funny. Yeah, I know he
Super
said
funny.
he did the thing the other day to you of like, there's some people trying to break
shit,
into the
he got
house,
me
call the
good.
police, and you all looked at the ring camera, and it was just him standing on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
porch. What could I right now,
Hilarious.
as a dad, be marinating on so that when we get to the point where there's, Ben is a grown ass man like Snowbike Mike, my super old ass man, Greg Miller, could be a good dad in that way.
Yeah, you know, Ben's going to be really fortunate for you because my dad, similar to you, is a storyteller. You know, and Big Mike's got great stories, and he'll tell you stories all the time. You'll laugh and have fun with you. He's not afraid to razz somebody. You know what I mean? Meets a new friend, kind of teases them, has some fun, calls them Slappy, you know, and I like that about Big Mike.
Is that the origin of Slappy?
Yeah, Big Mike calls people Slappy, so it's always nice to have that. Good grill skills. And when I say good grill skills, I mean you got to burn the ever-loving shit out of everything
That
you
doesn't
cook.
sound like good grill
and I'll
skills.
tell you what,
That doesn't sound like good grill skills.
your son will grow up to appreciate it and love it because I love a good grilled Snowbike or Big Mike burger, piece of chicken, pork chop. You grill the shit out of that. I love it. I don't care, man. Let's eat the char. I'm all about it, man. It's going to be those small moments that your kid loves and goes back to like, man, I miss dad and mom cooking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I appreciate that. And, you know, my dad is not very tech savvy. He really does not like tech. He doesn't grip tech. This whole weekend, I taught him how to use the TV. It was a big deal. Okay.
Like what? You're getting in like contrast settings or what?
Oh, no. I mean like turning
smooth?
it on and like changing the channel. So
How old is Big Mike?
Big Mike's like late 60s,
Okay.
going in the 70s.
Okay.
Now, Big Mike last winter had the rule, we're going to leave the TV on all winter in the Tahoe house. The TV never turned off.
Why?
I trained him
There's
enough.
not people there the whole time.
Yes, the TV was on the whole time, never turned it off, and I taught him how to just use the cable remotes. That's
Okay.
up channel, down channel.
Yeah.
There was no volume, there was no power on and off. That was it. So this weekend I trained him because, of course, you know, me and the boys, we had to buy a new TV for the Tahoe house. I freaking love that TV. And so I taught him how to turn on Netflix, go to Hulu, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And it was a training montage. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, Big Mike, this is how you do it. Then I wait 5 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm bored of watching cable television. Take me to Netflix, Big Dad. And he would, one down. Okay, two to the left. And he's going right. He's going up. I'm like, you almost got it, dude. And he'd click on it. And he'd go, yes. And I go, okay, I'm bored of this. Take me back to cable TV. And we'd go back and forth. So it's the little things you'll
End
have.
of the weekend, how fast was it?
It was pretty fast. It was still a little demoralizing because then we went to TV number 2 upstairs in the bedroom. He was like, so how do I work this one? And I was like, this one's a little different. So,
This is for real though. This is where I'm gonna pull a Tim Geddes and say just put Apple TVs on all your TVs, and it's the simplest thing you could possibly imagine. It's very if I can figure it out, Big Mike can figure it out.
2 cons to Apple TV.
Yeah.
The only two cons.
2 cons.
To the Apple TV. And to be clear, Apple TV is a service, but it's also a product.
Yeah.
So there's the streaming service, Apple TV Plus, but there's also the Apple
box.
TV 4K. That's the actual box.
The box.
One of the,
amazing.
as a home theater enthusiast, the Apple TV is one of the products that I stand by the most. Love this thing. Easily the best streaming box. A lot of people on the, the Android side of things will be like, get the NVIDIA Shield. The NVIDIA Shield has a lot of pros going for it. It has advertisements up the wazoo. The interface sucks. A lot of problems with that that I don't like. Apple clean as hell. The problems, though, obviously the cost. It's an Apple product. You're getting a little gouged on that thing. And the other problem, the remote, no, you can't change the input of the HDMI.
Correct. Yeah, I have an
that's
Apple
a big
TV.
issue.
Shout out to Nick who gave me one of those. Love it. It is great. But
Where'd
yeah,
you get
it's
yours, Nick?
missing some of the features.
Where did I get mine?
Yeah.
I bought it at Best Buy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I gave you one. I thought you regifted it.
No, what happened was, remember I was having an issue with the frame rates of like Dolby Vision on some of my apps on my TV through the in-app TV, and you were like, Nick, stop using the in-app TV. Bought the Apple TV. It sat on my desk for 2 months, and then Mike started here, and as a starting gift, I was like, hey, you're moving into a place. Here's an Apple TV. Yeah. And then for a year straight, my wife would not let me buy another one. She said you wasted it giving it to Mike.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to spend $500 on Apple TV. So 3 years later, I finally bought one, and it is amazing.
It's a game changer. Mr. Hawk saying, can you set the Apple TV remote to turn on your TV? Yes, you can.
It does everything.
Yeah.
And it's very intuitive. And I like it because we have completely cut the cord, and the only sort of cable service we use is YouTube TV, which is the app for that's fantastic.
Well implemented, yes.
Very well implemented. I have very few minor notes on this stuff, but man, when I went into the settings and could set like a frame rate or I guess 60 hertz or 59.94, I was like, oh wow, this is actually a very well thought out piece of tech for like video enthusiasts.
Deep in the duff.
Deep in the duff.
And of course, rounding out the quartet, it's Forbes 30 under 30, aka the second best baby blues in San Francisco, aka the married one. At Tim Geddes.
Not Tim Host.
What's
I'm
up
wearing
with,
shorts.
what's up
Tim,
with it?
show the yams
Now here's
off.
the problem. The last time you wore shorts, it was a heat wave, and we're like, well, you're out in your house or you're in here. It's cold both ways. You're like, no, they're gonna walk in the parking lot. It's 65 degrees out.
Dude,
It's fall in San Francisco.
This weekend was hot as hell in San Francisco, and this morning was hot as hell at my house. Yeah. I was awoken by construction outside my house, but I was also awoken by a sun ray coming through the window that was beaming down, and the heat woke me up. All right.
Damn.
That's what got me. And I was like, I'm wearing shorts today. I don't give a fuck how much people make fun of me. Yeah. I'm going to wear the shorts. And, there's 11 employees here.
We're down one to 10.
Cool Greg is sick right now. So
another one, 9.
And then Kevin out with the baby. So we have 9. I think that 7 people today made fun of me for the shorts, or at least referenced it. Made fun of it.
See, I think I was going to say reference. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
But it's just you're not a shorts guy.
But at what point am I?
Not today.
I'm gonna say
you'll
this.
never know what I did in Mexico,
I'm
Greg.
gonna say this though: if you wear shorts 2 more times in the office, you become the de facto shorts
I think
guy.
Tim.
Mike's
Tim is
the
taking.
shorts guy.
I'm the shorts guy, but I think Tim is taking the crown from me here in 2024.
Yeah, but
You know what
Mike's
I mean?
the
He
shorts
keeps it
guy
up.
because of pure comfort.
Yeah.
You could make this into like a fashion thing.
No, for
There was
me,
a time where you were all about the chubbies.
I still am.
Fucked.
I mean,
You're
look
a
at
chubby
these.
guy.
It's a 5-inch inseam, everybody. You know what I mean?
Lot of
Are these
yams.
chubbies?
No, these are Lululemon.
Okay.
I like them.
Look at the stretch.
they're
Yeah.
nice.
I just bought new shorts for grappling, and the weirdos that run my jujitsu gym have a 3-inch short.
3-inch.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I would do it.
it's graphic.
I would do it.
It's graphic.
But yeah, no, I love this. I love these a lot. The problem with them though is I knew it was on the KF podcast today, which is the one show where our legs are actually seen that we're not behind a desk.
Yeah.
But I was like, cool, Greg's sick. So that means we're limited on who can actually get this all set up. So we're probably just going to use the desk today.
At one point, I glanced over and they did have the
desk set up, and I was like, thank God I was right. And then I came out and I was like, this is a sick trick on me. Somebody, Roger, I'm just going to blame you just because you're running the show right now and it's easiest to blame you.
Yeah,
Roger was like, Tim's wearing shorts.
Yeah.
We need the people to see what we have to see.
Yeah, that was the conversation between
Yeah.
Barrett and I. We wanted to humiliate and embarrass him.
100%.
First off, I like how when Raj holds the mic and it looks like he's like making a very fine point since the mic's gone. There was no mic in the shot before. Also, Roger, give the one of Tim again, or if you can.
Yeah, it's the one
And
shot.
then just screenshot it, and then just the crotch should be the thumbnail. And it was what was Tim thinking? There it is. Yeah.
But can you also put your little Roger up there next to his leg for comparison?
What's going on with the phone? Why is the phone right there? Why is the
I mean,
phone?
where else is it going to go?
Is it covering it?
You ever heard of the cock blocker? You just
No,
wanna
no,
get
no.
hit.
It's just like I need to
Isn't
put it
that
somewhere.
bad though? Aren't you getting like the internet waves into your
sterile.
balls? Yeah,
I
that's
want
not
'em.
good, right?
I want them there. You know what I
But
mean?
all the plastic
This thing
in
has
your
Wi-Fi
testes,
7.
It bounces the
Bounces
waves
that off.
off of. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Remember we were all worried about that? It's
I'm
like,
still
oh,
worried
shit, should I
about
not
it.
have my phone in my pocket like that, like right up on my nuts, or what?
Yeah.
put it to your
I mean, you
face.
probably still shouldn't. I mean,
You put it to your head.
Yeah, probably. Who
Okay.
knows? 20 years, we're going to look back on a lot of stuff. You're like, oh, weird morons.
Yeah, that's all right.
But again, even like the heat of a laptop's not good for your
But it feels
sperm
good,
count.
though.
Oh, it feels great.
Feels great.
Just grinding on this thing. You know what I mean? Trying to get that impossible itch. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
in
I
there
mean?
somewhere. We'll scratch it.
Day. We're back.
Weekend boys.
Yeah, I know. Weekend boys are here, Tim. Sorry you didn't want to be a weekend boy because it was too hot.
Oh,
The weekend boys
Tim
thrive
just
in
comes
the
here
heat.
during the weekends. It's so much fun here in the weekends, bro.
I mean, I have good solutions for even at my house when it's hot. Like I'm
Crank that
I'm a
AC,
grown ass
hang out.
man, Mike. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking. Look, when it's hot, I wear shorts. It's like I can deal with things.
Simplest
but-
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you didn't know, everybody, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each coming to hang out with each other and talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. If you want to talk with us, the best way to do it is to be live in the chat. If you are a Kind of Funny member, of course, $10 gets you all of our shows ad-free. It gets you a daily exclusive show from me called Greg Way, and it gets you the ability to watch the afternoon podcast live as we record them, just like Samson L is watching, Jeff the Maverick, Mr. Hawks, and Lexi G. Of course, we can see their chats. They can be part of the show, and we can all talk to them and have a great time. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, no big deal. You get the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week for free with ads over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Of course, thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Drummer Boy, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, and Nathan Lamoth. Today we're brought to you by Phasmophobia and BetterHelp. But first, we turn to Snowbike Mike
Okay.
and have a question from Cozy Bear,
Oh, nice.
who wrote into kindoffunny.com/KF
the bear.
podcast and says, What celebrity do you believe you could successfully impersonate for a month if you were given a temporary plastic surgery job in voice-changing technology that allowed you to fully embody them physically and voice-wise?
Wow. Great question.
Excellent question.
Is that a great question?
I think
Great
it
question.
is. Yeah.
That's a good
So
question.
we're living in a world where I'm in Mission Impossible, where I just put the mask on.
You put and you had the thing.
Exactly, and I
Could be
become
face off.
them.
It could be face off.
Thing.
Okay, a face-off shout out.
Because they said plastic surgery, so face off.
Who am I taking over? You know what I mean? I think of Mr. Sudeikis as Ted Lasso. I got the
Jason
stash.
Sudeikis.
He's a little witty, a little intelligent. I don't know if I'm filling that in, but he's a fun jabroni. You know what I mean?
But wait, like the character or like
No, I'm
Jason
just going as
Sudeikis?
Big J. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Jason
okay.
just walking
You know
around.
he doesn't like
Sudeikis.
have like the mustache, like just him.
He rocks the mustache occasionally. Yeah, you
Okay.
see him out
just
there.
making sure. Just making
You know,
sure.
But,
but
the
like
plastic surgery. So
my mind goes to someone that's fun, that's out there having a good time all the time.
Who is it?
And you know who it is, Nick? It's Jack Black.
Jack
Okay,
Black.
I think
Tenacious
me and
D
Jack Black could have a
time.
good time. Now, do I lack the musical talents? Of course. Jack Black doesn't do anything musical for a month. That would be the rule.
I
Yeah.
think
But
is he still on break from Tenacious D?
Yeah, but
Yes.
he's always like,
he's always doing something. He's always riffing and rhyming. Jamming. Yeah.
Okay.
I think me and Jack Black, you put me on the set of Jumanji 3, technically 4 right now, they wouldn't even know Jack Black's gone. They'd be like, oh shit, Jack Black is just having the time of his life.
I buy it.
I buy that. I
So-
feel like
Yeah.
you could. I mean, you probably don't vibe with this, but I just finished a show. This next person. I feel like you could do Vince Vaughn pretty easily.
I love Vince Vaughn. Yeah.
Pretty.
A little
easily.
too tall.
He's same
tall
height
for
as
me.
you. You're tall. Mike's the only person in my life that swears he's shorter than he is.
I know.
It's really annoying.
It's really weird.
Well, you step next to Greg and Tim, and you appreciate like what it really looks like to be 6'2" and above.
a real man.
And that's what these guys are. It's
Rare.
like these are real men right here, okay? And then you look at
lot of
me
people-
and you go,
When people look at me, they definitely think I'm a real man.
yes, we put you in flannel,
You've seen it.
okay? The leaves changing behind you,
Lumberjack.
just like when I painted Nick in that beautiful Madeline Stanley shoe commercial. I put Greg out here, fall collection for Abercrombie. He's wearing a nice down flannel. He's got the jeans on, the boots on, leaves changing above him. You go, that's a man right there. You look at Tim when he wears pants. You go, that's a man. Okay, wearing shorts right now, grown man.
Maybe not so much.
Short
Yeet shirt.
kindergartner.
Yes. Anybody below their heights, you're like,
Not a man.
didn't eat enough vegetables. That's too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when it
exactly,
ended.
Exactly. So here's the problem, I think, with Jack Black.
Yeah.
Jack Black's been married since 2006.
Okay.
I think the answer here, and maybe it's just me, but it's not me, even though it'll sound like it's a me thing, but it's not just me. The answer I would go with is Bill Murray. Bill Murray divorced. I don't know if he's currently seeing anybody, right? So there's no one in the house to dime you out. And then every Bill Murray story, right, is a crazy story. Ate the French fries off the plate. He bought everybody this. He walked down the streets of comic.
Yeah.
He's just insane, right?
Yeah.
But he's the kind of insane people like.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could
Mike,
do that. And then
that's
if you
good.
were a little bit off, if you were a little bit whatever,
They'd be like,
oh,
all right.
Bill Murray's weird today. Oh, Bill Murray bumped into Dan Aykroyd, had no idea who he was. It's hilarious. You know what I mean?
That would probably happen. That would be a problem. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, Jack Black's wife, she'd just be like, oh, man, what's gotten into you lately? And I'd be like, I'm hanging out with Kevin Hart and, D. Wade, Dwayne Johnson. We're kind of living it up, honey. And she's like, oh, man, something's gotten into you. And she just has a fun
What's our
moment.
anniversary? You know what I mean? I feel like those are the
I
things
feel
that
like I don't know what the intent of this question was, but I don't think that Cozy Bear necessarily was saying that we need to like impersonate the celebrity's like personal life.
What celebrity do you believe you could successfully impersonate for a month?
You have to
Yeah,
take
but
over
like I
their
feel
life.
like that's like how do you pull it up to the general public, not to their wife? Like I don't think that we can do that for any actual person,
I
any
think a month is
celebrity.
easy. I think a month with a wife is easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, easy.
Not every relationship's like yours. You know
My wife
what I
sees me
mean?
once every 3
Exactly.
weeks.
You come upstairs going to watch your little show or whatever.
Also, if there was someone to come impersonate me that was like 2 to 3 inches, like Mike's height, if Mike was impersonating me, I don't think D would ever want to go back. I think she'd just be like, we're good. Who's this guy?
Tim, who would you impersonate?
I mean, it's really stretching celebrity, but I got you clocked.
Oh, me?
I do Greg Miller so easy.
Oh, God, easy.
I'd be able to get you down. I have it like all the. I mean, we're already halfway there.
Wow.
But the biggest problem.
Yeah.
The tell for me, the thing that I'd just be fucked.
You can't make 9/11 jokes that fast.
I can't.
That's
what it is. I can't get into
Okay.
just the insanity of the dark
Insanity,
holes and the dark
Yeah.
pits.
Damn.
And I feel like I can go a week, 2 weeks, and no one would ask questions. If we went 3 weeks without Greg being fucking weird and inappropriate in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form,
I'll tell you what, you know what I
someone
mean?
will call
Like,
us
it's
out.
one of those things where Andy's here. What's up, Andy?
You don't think daddy duty would take you over? Like, that's my concern for you, Tim, is like, are you ready for daddy duty?
Yeah, Ben's gonna know. He'll see right through you.
Yeah,
Like-
see, that's
like,
the
now
guy
you
I'm
gotta
going.
step
I'm,
So
up.
you're doing this just public facing.
I'm doing the public.
You come back
facing.
and you get to drop the guard, be like, Jen, I don't mind covering for Greg while he's on Mars.
See, here's the thing about Jen, though. Well, no, see, we're stretching those. I'm literally just talking public facing.
Why you're about to insult my wife, weren't you?
Oh no.
Here's the thing about Jen, though. She's a fucking idiot.
No. The thing about Jen is I just tell her, hey,
Oh yeah.
I'm Tim and Greg's body, and one
She'd
of
be
two
like,
things
this is-
happen.
what
type of bit's going on?
You guys are in a crazy situation.
She's literally,
again.
she's either going to be
Yeah.
like, okay, Tim's in Greg's body. I get it. Like they're doing something, or this is just Greg being Greg. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. That's so accurate. That's 1,000% accurate.
See, that's where it comes down to for me. Because if you remember, 2-3 months back, Greg was convinced, and still is, except he stopped that he's in an alternate.
I jumped dimensions into a different universe. Yeah.
So I don't think it's that hard
My
to just be like, I did it again, and now I'm not the same Greg that you know, Jen. I'm more reserved.
And again, Jen
a
would
lot
just
less
have to
unhinged.
roll her eyes and smile.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
She
mean?
would totally be fine with that. Ben would pick up on it though, because
Yeah.
Nah,
after
kids
the
are
third
silly.
or
They don't
fourth
know.
day that you didn't make him dress up like a Ghostbuster, he'd be like, "What the fuck's going on with my dad? What's
Now,
happening
my
here?"
other answer though that's not Greg is the other Greg in my life, which is Andy Cohen. All right.
Oh.
I know
Oh, you
Nick's
have a great
familiar.
time.
I don't know if y'all are too familiar with this. Andy Cohen, kind of the face of the Bravo network, all the Real Housewives, all this, has a nightly live show called Watch What Happens Live. That's essentially just him interviewing housewives that were on the show previously and like talking about what they just saw. I could do that shit with my eyes closed because it'd be just natural. And if I looked and sounded like Andy Cohen, I can get his mannerisms down entirely.
Here's what I keep coming back to, right? How do we get you on that show?
I don't know.
How do we do it?
We got to do it.
We have to
though.
make that a goal for 2025.
I love this.
We know
I love
someone
this.
who knows someone who can get you on this show.
And the thing about the show-
I don't want it to be once. I want it to be a recurring
be one of those guys.
correspondent
I
that
mean-
just randomly pops on.
I would love that. The thing about watching
he has
Happens
those
Live
people, right?
is it's always two guests, and they're usually either like the housewives that were on the show before, or like really big deal celebrities that are like, oh well, of course we're gonna have. I don't know why Renee Zellweger came into my
Okay,
mind. I
she's
don't
a
know.
big deal.
She's never been on
Yeah.
the show that
Bridget
I know.
Jones's Diary,
but like,
though.
it's like, of course they're gonna do that. But or like John Hamm, right? If you think of John Hamm, they're gonna put him there.
Huge.
But they also have a bartender. That's not really a bartender. They're just kind of like there to kind of talk to every once in a
Yeah.
while. I just want to be that. You know what I mean?
See, I feel like you're selling yourself short. I don't
I
know how we
appreciate
do
that,
this, but I feel like you would just be so fun on that show.
Thank you. I do too.
So fun on that
I
show.
do too.
It's like Andy's always wanted to go on the Lebitard show, which he would be phenomenal at, as well as like a gaming correspondent. You would just be so good on it, and I feel like you and Andy would vibe.
We got to make it. We got to make
The
it
other
happen.
Andy, not this.
The Andy Cohen, yeah.
Yeah, the Andy Cohen. That'd be so fun.
Yeah. I appreciate that you support my dreams.
I support.
I mean,
just wanna
we'll
this
make it happen. We'll figure out how to get on the show.
Good.
I just checked. I interviewed Andy Cohen, as you know, back in the day on Lip Sync Battle. Yeah. He
Lip Sync Battle?
Me and Elliot Morgan did
I did not
a
realize
thing
that.
with Lip Sync Battle on the
Elliot
pre-show
Morgan,
with him.
also
Yeah. But he doesn't follow me on anything, so I can't help you there. You know what I mean?
We got 6 degrees of separation here. We can figure it out.
I mean, that's
we just
closer
got to
than I
set our
thought I
mind
was.
to it. Now that I'm a paid regular, I don't have to worry about climbing that mountain anymore.
Yeah, let's
this will be
get
my
me on
next
Watch
thing.
Happens
that I-
Live.
Yeah, exactly.
People,
Yeah.
chat, you're out there watching.
He's got great
That
rap.
was the quickest fucking find of footage I've ever seen for
Nice
something
job,
that
Roger.
obscure.
Roger,
Thank
can you
Roger.
slack me this? I need to show Gia.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the lip sync battle pre-show. So
I also
have it all
appreciate
saved.
that, they cared so little about
you,
this
Roger.
digital pre-show we did.
Fuck you. Literally.
They cared so little about the pre-show we did that they were like, you know what, we'll give the gigantic man a giant chair and give Andy Cohen, the small man, the tiniest couch.
Could have swapped those
Yeah.
out.
Maybe we try to balance this shot. Now, granted, we were probably given all of 7 minutes with Andy Cohen, so like it was just a breakneck speed to get him on this thing and get him off this thing. But
God, he's so Andy.
He's
All
that
of his
person.
mannerisms, man. I'm just like, yeah, I could do it. I know.
yeah,
Crazy.
you could do it. So, anyways, chat, let us know. Because it's one of these, Andy Cohen, start working backwards and around and do the little brainstorm circles, right? Because we got to be able to pull off to eventually get to Rahul, eventually get to Janina. You know
So
what I
you're
mean?
saying
Like
get them on first or as
No.
like a-
I'm saying
Trojan
like
horse?
we don't know directly how to contact Andy Cohen.
Yeah.
But Andy Cohen has worked with Anderson Cooper, who has worked with with
so
and then we
6
find
years,
out.
yeah.
What's
yeah.
important is
I
I
love
know that y'all are amazing and y'all make things happen.
Don't make it weird.
Well, first off, don't make it weird.
Don't blow
And by
his
that, the definition of that is don't have anything to do with this episode. This is not how I normally look. I don't want Andy Cohen seeing me
But what if you
at a
say
wrestling
Andy-
shirt.
You are in a tree of
It's like,
trust right
yeah,
now.
no,
We're in
no,
a tree
no.
of trust right
Andy
now.
Cohen needs to see me in my coolest form. I don't know what that is. I don't know that I've even achieved it yet, but it's not this.
Here's the thing: if you need to put your creative energy somewhere in regards to Tim with shorts, just tweet at me with things that Tim's legs remind you of. That's all you gotta do. Leave Andy Cohen out of this. To me, they remind me a little bit of that polar bear I hugged in Atlanta.
I'll never
one
forget
time.
that moment.
The Coke, yeah,
Yeah.
the Coke factory.
Never forget. All right. I feel like we accomplished a lot of things here.
I feel like it could be Andy pretty easily. I think all of us could be Andy pretty easily.
Cortez?
Well, Andy
Yeah.
Cortez would be possibly this. You could impersonate him for a year.
Oh, wait, you're
He
right.
only sees us, and then he just goes home and hides in
Yeah.
his room.
So all you really would have to convince Barrett.
And
Who, by the
that'd
way,
be
is
the
the
easiest
Kirk-
thing in the world. There's
You
like
think so?
Barrett. It's
off
me,
from
Greg,
around.
and Andy's body.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about Andy recently, and I haven't talked to him about this.
Sure.
But like, I'm convinced he's hiding stuff from me in particular. I don't
Oh, it
know
sounds-
what.
I figure. I guarantee it.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. It's
But
of
it's
no
like when I start
consequence.
thinking about his day, because I know where he is most of the time.
I
'cause,
love
like,
thinking about
he's-
where he is.
he's-
Love that.
Because he's either here or he's streaming at home.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless he's pulling off an elaborate ruse of pre-recorded footage for streams,
Which could be the
which
case. He's very
could
smart
be the case,
and very
depending on what
creative.
he's trying to hide from me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
of course.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not many hours because then otherwise you can assume what he is doing. I know he goes from his little walks. I know that he, stays up pretty late, so he's sleeping during the day. But I just don't know. There's some unaccounted hours. There's some unaccounted hours. And I don't
unaccounted
know
hours.
what's telling me this.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling. What's Andy up to?
What is he doing?
Everyone's been distracted trying to figure out what I did in Mexico. We're not asking the real questions. What's Andy doing?
I try to keep tabs on him. I pop into his stream.
Yeah.
I Steam chatted him this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was a big moment for us because I said I was like, this can still be our secret channel because I discovered Steam chat while we were streaming the other
Yeah,
day.
it was fun. You're
And
the first person.
And so then I went to play the Pokemon game, but next to it was the Steam chat icon that I hadn't used since the stream. And so I opened it up and I just sent Andy the message. I'm like, this can still be our place to secret chat. And he just responded, cool, man.
Cool, man.
That's exciting.
You know what I
It's
mean?
exciting when he gives you the energy back.
Yeah.
Not on the level that you gave him, but just
Never.
whatever he could spare. For
Yeah,
that
whatever Andy
particular
can do. Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
was nice for
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You miss him? You haven't streamed with him in a while.
Andy
been-
and I
we've been-
have
we've been Dragon
recently
Agent
been
it in
two
there.
ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
It's very strange. No, I don't miss him.
It's fair. I can understand that, I guess. Yeah.
I may give it another week.
Okay. Fair enough. What's he doing on his phone?
I'm trying to find the polar bear.
When I
That
hug.
Nick hug.
The Nick hug.
Was it a mascot?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
the
Coke
Coca-Cola.
polar bear.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah,
getting
I
close.
hugged him.
I thought it was like
Jesus
maybe
Christ.
an actual baby polar bear that you hugged. That would be pretty wicked.
No, that'd be sick though. Oh yeah, we did that.
I remember that.
We sure did that. Oh man, that reminds me. There's a non sequitur, but I watched the Martha Stewart documentary over the weekend.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Very, very good. She's apparently not super happy with it because it paints her in a very realistic light. I don't think it's a bad light necessarily. Some parts of it potentially, insider trading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Potentially how she treats her
It's just a
employees.
real documentary.
It's a very, very real documentary, which is very rare too, especially for someone that has as much access to it. But at one point,
you speak like a man who watched the Shania Twain documentary.
I have not.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Go with this one.
There's a moment in it, of course, where she had her fall from grace, where we all remember the trial and her going to jail, and it's just a very, very fascinating and sad, and I'm sure it was very difficult for everyone involved moment in her life. But the thing that brought her back was the roast of Justin Bieber, and I had never seen this. And man, I'll tell you what, there's two ways she could have gone with this, right? She could have gone up and just been like, I'll say some randomly nice things, or she could have gone so fucking hard in the paint that it would have been like incendiary for anyone else. And she chose violence that day, and it's fucking great. It was pretty impressive. And then from that point on, that's where she met Snoop.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and her,
Snoop is the big thing.
Like
I
it's
feel
her.
like.
She was like, I was sitting next to Snoop the whole time, and Snoop was just smoking blunt after blunt. And she goes, halfway through, I was just so high, and it was so fun. And then Snoop was like, I just like Martha a lot. We have a lot in common, and now we're best friends.
Yep, they are.
It's
They're
so
best friends.
incredible.
God
Anyway,
bless him.
highly recommend it. It's a very, very good documentary.
Did you find your polar bear?
I did. I sent it to us. There we are. Me,
God, Nick
and-
looks like a different person.
What the fuck?
Who is that?
Nick looks like a different person.
Oh, that's me.
Look at how it's your beard. Like now you're
Yeah,
so
the beard's
you were
crazy,
so
bro.
meticulous about your beard, and that beard is just going.
Whoa,
right
I
there.
just had no gray hair.
Also true. Yeah.
Wow.
Can we get a zoom in on that face?
Let's get a
Wow.
zoom in on that.
Also, can we
face.
appreciate that mascot outfit? Incredible.
It's really
polar bear.
good. He's got a little doinker on him too. Look at that thing.
Okay.
A little hairy, furry doink doink. A little speaker.
Wow. Yeah, you don't see Nick in
Thanks
like
for
the
trying on
athletic
that.
wear
Yeah,
with the
like that.
shorts on.
Yeah.
Very unlike.
Well, this
Nick
was
right
Atlanta, Georgia, in the middle of summer. It was
MomoCon.
balls fucking hot, and we were destroying tachos every 5
there.
minutes.
Okay.
So
We were.
there was a lot of sweaty shit happening. I was
Yeah.
probably like 10 pounds heavier right there too.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
crazy.
for
Wow.
Look at that.
That
Now-
looks nothing like you.
So as a counterpoint, yeah, this is maybe a year ago, maybe even a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, but the Shania Twain documentary.
Okay.
We all love Shania Twain.
Sure. Who doesn't?
But when's the last time you thought about Shania Twain and how great she was, right? And so I forget what it is,
Been a while.
HBO or Netflix or
Yeah.
whatever. The Shania Twain documentary pops up, and Jed and I are like, let's fucking roll. Let's go, girls. You know what I mean? And we
course.
jumped in, and it's this thing, and she's this and that, and like, she's talking about, she basically, her career and this, from this to that, blah, blah. And it's like, they're leaving out things where they're like jumping around and like she changed her name, but they kind of don't talk about that. And it's like, okay, that's a weird thing that they just like blew past or whatever. And I'm dated, so maybe it's something about the name that I thought was a very weird way of presenting that information with us. And then of course they start talking about her and her husband and like writing partner or producing partner Mud. His name's Mud, right? And he's this country or music superstar as well. And yada yada yada. It's just Mud this, Mud that, Mud this, Mud that. Mud's not in the documentary. I'm like, oh, Mud died, clearly. Like, we're going to get to that point, right?
Yeah.
And then literally it's just like one line of like, and then me and Mud broke up. And then it just moves on. And I'm like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. No.
Can't talk about
And it's
Mud.
like, this isn't a documentary of like third parties came in. Shania Twain like
Made a
picked
thing.
people to make this fucking documentary. So I go to Google and it was the one that you might remember it once I bring it up. But it was the fact that it was Shania and Mud, and then her best friend and that guy's husband, and the husband's the wife then in Mud had an affair and fell in love, and then broke up, and then Shania briefly dated the husband.
no.
So, but it was like one of these things of like all that is just like powered through, glossed over. No one. It's just like, and there might even be one comment from the guy, and then like, yeah, Shania and Mud broke up, and it's just gone, like gone. We don't talk about Mud anymore. We don't fucking mention him. He's fucking salted earth, like nothing. It's just the story goes on of Shania Twain, and then guess what happened to Shania? Why don't you hear about Shania Twain anymore? Why? Doesn't Shania Twain? Because that's another thing you're thinking.
She changed
this
her name to Garth Brooks.
This amazing discography, all this stuff
Yeah.
this woman did, all the number ones, this whole thing with Mud. Like, okay, then what happened? She got sick. What do you think got her sick, Tim? Lyme disease.
No.
A tick,
That's a
ladies,
motherfucker.
gentlemen, and
That
NBs.
fucks you up.
Oh,
I've been trying to
Greg.
tell people that.
I'm on
but
your
a lot
side.
of people like to laugh at me about it.
I don't. I mean, I like
And that
laughing
fucked
about
up her
it.
entire thing. She couldn't sing the same anymore. But then
Holy crap.
the up of it is like she bounced back and she like lives in like the Netherlands or something. I don't know, something
Good
crazy.
life.
The Martha Stewart documentary is the opposite. At one point, and this
She
is like,
bites the tick.
No, this is a direct quote of like how the director they had access to her, but I don't think she knew like how much they were going to include in this.
Yeah.
At one point, she talks about how her husband, and she got married very, very young because she's of that era. You know, she's older now. I think she's in her late 80s now. But so she got married when she was 19, and so you know, her husband there was infidelities, and she's talking about her husband's infidelities. And at one point, the director interrupts her and goes, "Wait a minute, didn't you cheat on Andy during this one thing?" And she goes, "Yeah, but he didn't know about that." Fucking intense. Like, and she's just that's her. She's like, "Yeah, he didn't know about that." And she goes, "Yeah, he did." She goes, "Oh, he did? Oh well." Like, fuck him. Fuck that guy.
Martha.
Dude, she is hard as fucking nails, man. And
If
just,
we can get
it's
connected to Martha
fascinating.
Stewart, she could connect us to Andy Cohen.
Oh,
Probably.
God, probably.
Easily.
I feel like they have beef. You know what I mean? Like,
I honestly feel like Martha has beef with a lot of people.
yeah.
She's a hard human being, man. She's definitely, she has a lot of those traits that you would see in like a why can I not remember the guy? Who is the guy that founded Apple? The guy that Steve Jobs. She reminds me of Steve Jobs in that when you talk to her, it's just that sort of like, I don't want to say sociopathic level of zero empathy, but she just has zero empathy for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way I am, and it's what I want, and it needs to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, get the fuck out of my life. I'm like, damn. It's a great documentary.
Yeah.
It's a great documentary.
Martha,
Highly
Martha,
recommend it.
Martha.
I had to take a break from that and watch a slightly more lighthearted documentary after that. So I watched the 2-hour and some change documentary on John Williams after
You got me hyped on this,
And
man.
let me
During lunch,
fucking
you were
tell
telling
you.
me.
I cried multiple times.
Oh.
Multiple times.
Good for you.
To the point where I knew I was going to cry.
Yeah.
And Dee was like, "Hey, why don't we watch that John Williams documentary?" I was like, "Yeah, why don't you go to bed first?" Because I feel like I don't want you to see me cry again like you do every time I watch
no.
Endgame. And she's like, "I'll watch it with you." And the Star Wars moment. And in him talking about the themes and what they mean. And he has this wonderful moment where he talks about the 5 notes for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Ba, 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 ba. And he's like, how that's a conversation and a question and all these cool
So
things.
sick,
I was like,
dude.
fuck, it's so fucking cool. Everything, his theory and how he applied that to his art. It's fucking rad.
Johnny Dub, man.
You know, they called him Johnny Williams because he was a jazz musician.
Sick.
And when he started doing movie scores, his friend was like, you can't
gotta
you know
drop
my
the knee.
Johnny.
It's
You gotta be
cleaner.
John Williams. He goes, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool as fuck. You should watch it.
I'm going to definitely watch
Watch
it.
it tonight.
I just made eye contact with
Weekend
Greg
boys.
with the most blank face I've ever seen him.
I just
What
like to
was
keep you
that?
guessing.
Did you have something from the chat you were pointing at?
We have something brewing in the chat that's a great idea.
Some brewing, some
Madeline Stanley says, "Does Jerry O'Connell know
he
Andy
has
Cohen?"
to.
I mean, Jerry O'Connell's been
has
on the
to.
show.
Yes.
Jerry O'Connell is like he is the guy. Like but like how direct is our connection to Jerry?
I texted him, so we'll see.
How direct is the connection?
Jerry
We're going to find
We'll
out.
see if Jerry's down to help us. We'll get
We're
some
gonna
answers.
find out.
We're gonna
Oh
get
my
some
God.
answers. Maybe we'll get some answers after this commercial break, because of course this is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week for some. If you like that, of course, support us with the Kind of Funny membership. $10 gets you all of our shows ad free. It gets you the ability to watch live as we record the shows in the afternoon, and of course, it gets a daily dose of me in a series we call Greg Way. But right now, you're not using your membership benefits. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode's brought to you by Phasmophobia. The genre-defining horror game is finally out now on consoles. Yes, that's right. The phenomenon that is Phasmophobia has finally entered console early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X and S, with full cross-play support across all platforms from day one. Join the already almost 20 million players on Steam, including our very own Snowbike Mike, and get ready for some spine-chilling ghost hunting with up to 3 friends. Experience the horror as you investigate immersive haunted locations and gather evidence to help you succeed. With several different ghost types and unique traits, no ghost hunt is ever the same. Making sure you work as a team and utilize your equipment is the key to making it out alive. It's time, Ghost Hunters. Phasmophobia is out now on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X and S. Gather your friends and prepare for the terrifying ghost hunts that await. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. I want to take a moment and say thank you to Barrett. Barrett always goes above and beyond to keep all of our shenanigans going. This month is all about gratitude, and in addition to Barrett, there's another person we don't get to thank enough. Ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we're trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world that isn't easy. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Let gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
All right, we're back.
Texted Jerry O'Connell. That is one of the funniest sentences.
My last text, Jerry O'Connell, April 7th, 2021.
Okay, here we go. Roll the dice.
I'll let you know. You cannot make a bigger mistake in this life than giving me your phone number, because I'll never get rid of it. I would, occasionally I'll go to text somebody and like you get like the autofill, and I'm like, who was? I think that was like a person that was doing the recordings for EA Sports at Mizzou in 2002. Wow. You know what I mean? Like that's who I'm keeping in this. Do you ever clean out your contacts?
Yes.
I used to, and I gave up on it a while ago.
Yeah.
Everything just updates so nicely nowadays, because before it was like I would want to clean it so that when I get a new phone or something, and like I don't have to put in everybody, but now it's like it just does it for you. So I'm like, I don't really care too much. Quick Jerry O'Connell story.
Sure.
My friend Amanda, her boyfriend works on The View, The Talk. Which one is it?
He's on The Talk.
The
He's
Talk.
on The View, yeah.
The one with Jerry O'Connell.
Oh,
The Talk.
The Talk. And he helps on that show, and didn't know that we had Jerry on our show or anything, and we were talking. He was just explaining what he does, and he was saying, he's like, dude, like Jerry O'Connell is like the dopest guy ever.
Yeah.
So much fun. He's so good or whatever. And I just love that Jerry O'Connell lives up to the legend. Like, no matter who we talk to, anybody I know that's talked to him or met him or anything is like, he's just the absolute best guy.
Yeah.
Love that.
it makes me happy. It makes me happy to hear that.
I forget who it was that. It was on a Slack, I believe, that sent around the thing of like, before it even popped up, I knew who it was, and it was them. It was another show being like, yeah, we needed to talk to our friend, but he says he can only get reception in the middle of a park, and it was Jerry O'Connell in the same place to do the same public park he stood in for an hour and a half to do the Kind of Funny podcast with.
Until he abruptly had to leave. One of the best episodes we've ever had, man.
Yeah. It's always, I mean, like, again, we talked about it a million times. If you're going to work with Kind of Funny, you're generally cool, right? Especially at the old spare bedroom where it's like, you're coming to someone's house or whatever, right? Yep. But like this one especially, right? Of like, that was like such a 3 DMs from me to him back and forth or whatever. And then he just popped in the middle of the field, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a train wreck. And then he had such energy, and he was so into it. He was so amazing. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And I love it because that one, I mean, correct me when I'm wrong here, Greg, like, it's not like you knew him before.
No.
We were on a podcast, and it was the normal KF podcast thing of like, Nick said one movie, Greg said an actor.
Sliders,
They're talking about something different, and it all got connected.
Rocked, man.
10 minutes later, it's just like, I'm gonna tweet at Jerry O'Connell, see if we can get him on the show. And then next week he's on the show.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he is.
It's awesome.
He's interested in bringing happiness to the masses.
Now, speaking of bringing happiness to the masses, while we were live, I got a response to an email. All right. So I got.
Oh, this is fun. Yeah,
I had tweeted out this email earlier today. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe you haven't.
I did see that tweet.
Paris and I did an ad.
Oh, yes.
For Kamala Harris, right? And it was
This is
talking.
fun, Nick says.
It was talking about the crazy ads from Trump that are like blaming and being horrible about trans thing, and it was me and Paris being like, that's not actually what it's all about, right? Blah blah blah. I guess it finally started to run, and because I know it started to run because I got this email from Elizabeth Bopel.
Okay. Bopel.
You're disgusting. Repeated vile ads.
Yep.
Now remember, there's just one ad. It's just Elizabeth's watching. It turns
But
out
she's seen it a lot.
She's watching on Pluto TV.
Well, it's
so she's
running
seen
a lot on
Yeah.
Pluto. It's a lot of ads on Pluto.
There are a lot of ads on Pluto.
I'll tell you what. Until right now, I'd never even heard of Pluto TV. All right, I don't know what
Pluto's
the
a
hell
cool
this
Greg
is.
special
Whatever.
that he loves.
Pluto's a
Fucking
big Mike
rules.
TV
Yeah,
thing.
that Roger Picordi is all about that.
Oh, I mean,
Yes.
it's helped us with Godzilla in the studio. It's
Yeah,
been good.
Roger's
Well,
watched
that's where we're
every-
watching. That's where we're watching
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're watching Godzilla.
Then I have heard of Pluto. I apologize. Anyways, Elizabeth wrote and said, first off, remember the work that it would take to find me off of this. It's me and Paris in an uncredited ad. I mean, it's just like we're talking on the Kind of Funny podcast set with the logo.
Your name literally says Greg.
Not that's a different ad.
No.
This isn't even that. This is just me and Paris talking on the Kind of Funny set about this.
Interesting.
And so Elizabeth had to Google Kind of Funny podcast,
yeah.
then find me, then find my Twitter, I assume, then find my email,
Well, she's
then respond.
74 years old, so she has nothing better to do.
I digress. for the audio listeners, your disgusted, repeated vile
This is
ads.
her words now.
Of course. Well, I'm not. My ad's awesome. I didn't even know about your podcast until you started plastering and throwing them in my face on Pluto TV tonight. Don't you realize they actually paid you for that ad because you have one white and one black to balance like all the other ads on TV? You got to have a black guy and a white woman and maybe an Asian child eating. I don't know.
Eating? Why eating? Why does the child have to eat?
Maybe. I mean, she's Elizabeth.
Some solutions. What would they be eating, Greg?
South American oatmeal.
Elizabeth is ping pong and she's brainstorming a commercial right now.
Yeah, she is.
Maybe an Asian child eating, I don't know, South American oatmeal. I'm sick of you. How dare you tell me which pronouns to use if you admit who you are? This is not what the video was.
By the way, this has to be AI, right? This has to be some
No.
sort of,
No,
like,
no, no,
AI
no.
bot.
How is this AI? AI would make sense.
I don't
You're
know.
spewing lies you're spewing lies make me nauseous. I am 74 years old and I know how to tell the flags for truth versus rhetoric. You give no sources for your claims. You expect us to believe what you say to be true fact. You expect us not to look up anything, and you absolutely take everything out of context and refuse to give the full story. That's not true. That's fiction, and you took a lot of money to spew that fiction in my face all night long, over and over again.
How many times did she see you?
What is she watching on Pluto TV?
I'll be real. I agree politically pretty much across the board with you. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything we disagree on.
Yeah.
If I saw that ad more than 3 times, though, you might get a message like this from me.
How dare
Maybe
you
not the
use-
first 4
how-
lines.
How
though.
dare you use your name that you created through your kind of funny, and I'm not kind of funny organization to lies. Frankly, I couldn't use your podcast, but I hope it goes to hell. That was Elizabeth.
Frankly, I couldn't use it.
She's 74. She's
You're right,
composing the
you're
keyword.
right.
I'm more shocked that she found my information. That she was able to track me down off of a 30-second ad spot. Again, it
Yeah,
isn't like I'm Greg
that's-
Miller from the Kind of Funny Podcast. Email me here or whatever. Elizabeth just chased me on there. And again, it wasn't.
This is why I feel like looking at it, and let's see, Samson L in the chat, who, by the way, this is his first time being in the chat because he's a new member, which
Thank
is
you, Samson
fantastic. Saying it does read like Chat GTP. I would not put it past like the Republican Party just using chat. I don't know how it would find it though.
ChatGPT would be grammatically correct to an extent, not saying like eating South American oatmeal. Like,
I don't
it'd
know.
be phrased differently than that.
Usually AI stuff is usually kind of bonkers, isn't it? Or has it gotten
No,
better in the last 6 months?
it can be bonkers in terms of what it's saying, but I
Yeah.
don't think in terms of its run-on sentences and
That
like it would be
type of stuff.
grammatically there. Here, and we can just put it all to bed. I, of course, engaged.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
So
Greg, you gotta
I
read back.
I sent Elizabeth one email. I said, "Hey, Elizabeth, and my grammar and punctuation is great. Here's my source, and it's the New York Times article, right, of under Trump, U.S. prisons offer gender-affirming care. The Trump administration's approach is notable in light of a campaign ad that slams Vice President Kamala Harris for supporting taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for prisoners and migrants." As soon as we went live,
Oh shit!
Elizabeth responded again.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Just seeing that you relied on an unreliable source rather than finding your own data
The
really
New
upsets me.
Really? Damn, Greg, you didn't go to the source.
As a matter of fact, the first transgender surgery in a federal prison did not occur until 2022. I believe Biden was the president then. You were such a waste of space.
Got him.
She's got you on that.
Got it.
She's not wrong on that.
Oh my God. I just love
Oh
just
my
seeing that you
God.
relied on an unreliable source. The New York Times, the newspaper. I didn't know
mean-
Elizabeth was out there in her press hat with her notepad
Do your own
doing
homework,
interviews,
Greg.
getting
You
two
gotta do
sources.
it.
And
Do
she's
it
74.
yourself.
You got to get out there. And
So now
figure
we
this
got to
out for
decide
yourself.
how do we respond to Elizabeth?
Oh, we okay.
You're all in it now. We're composing to the keyboard like Elizabeth
That's
does. You know?
amazing. I mean, I would say I've never had South American oatmeal before.
Man, you went there too. I was going there.
I don't know where we go.
I was
with
going to
that.
say, Elizabeth, why don't you warm up a nice bowl of South American oatmeal and go to sleep?
Yeah.
Take a
Go to
nap.
sleep and hope God gives you one more day on this planet because you are an idiot. Jesus Christ.
I love that you wrote back, though, Greg. I'm glad that we
Greg's gonna
engaged
keep
in
this going
one.
for
Yeah,
a very long time.
Glad we're engaging in that one. That's a good one right there.
I like, hey, Elizabeth, you're not a great representative of Pluto TV.
Have you tried YouTube TV? That's where Jerry O'Connell's ads run.
Ask her what channel on Pluto TV she was watching. You know what I mean? I want to know the specific.
That's a great question. Yeah, what channel?
Was
are
she
you
watching
currently
Godzilla?
That we need to know.
Was she watching the TMNT? Who knows?
I like that. By the way, I just love. Well, first off, I love that you guys did those ads. I think it's great that we gave our time for that.
Which
And
we
I
didn't
think
get paid for, by the way.
I know. Yeah, to be fair,
You
yes,
run the books. You know we ain't getting
That
money
is a
from
very
it.
good point.
Hey,
That is a very-
Elizabeth, you're not a great representative of Pluto TV. Greg, P.S. What channel and show were you watching?
It's perfect.
Send.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Perfect.
the last time we did this,
Should I go PPS? Roger wanted to know.
the last time we did one of
His
these
name and addresses.
these on air, let's do an email back and forth thing was in 2021 when somebody reached out to see if I wanted a website URL. I've been cleaning out my email recently, and I saw this, and I put this in my Keep Forever folder.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna read it now, just to remind people that might not have heard this before. And even if you guys,
I don't remember this at all. I
If
don't
you,
know
if
this
you
at all.
remember parts of it,
I wanna know what
the
this is.
details are fucking amazing.
Yes.
So we get an email from samurai.com.
Yep. Badass.
Good website.
Hi, Tim. They emailed me many times, but hi, Tim. It's been a couple of months since I first reached out to you regarding the possibility of acquiring samurai.com, and I thought I'd check in to see if this was a better time to discuss acquiring it. Let me know when works best for a quick call, and there's a whole bunch of info. So I reply, shoot me straight. What's the price? Hi, Tim. Thanks for the reply. The ask for samurai.com is $450,000. I can assume the seller will accept offers, but it will be close to the asking price. Please let me know what you have in mind. So as a team, we came up with this. I offer $2,700 and not a penny more. American, USD. Since you have reached out so many times, I'm sure the seller's eager and ready to play hardball, and that's a game I'm prepared to play. This will be very advantageous to us both. Please keep me updated. And they go, thanks for the offer, Tim. If you can add 2 more zeros, I can speak with the seller and might get something going. And I reply, the offer remains at $2,700, but if your seller acts quick, we will throw in our own luxury URL that we have ownership of. Bonermonger.com.
Do it. I knew it. God.
No response. No response.
Yeah. You should stoke it and see what happens. You should go ahead
Yeah,
Greg's
yeah,
reply.
yeah,
Reply
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Circling back to this.
Just circling back, just bumping
Circling
this.
back. I'm a
waiting
bump it,
for
I'm
a
a bump
response.
it.
See what happens. See what happens there. Bonermonger.com. So we've had 2 vanity URLs
Yeah.
that stick out in my brain. Mike, I think they both predated you. But bonermonger.com.
Yep.
And Greg, what's the other one?
The other one would be so it's Kevin.
Kevin is a boogereater.com. Something like that. Remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
God,
We're
and
the
you did it
funniest.
so fast. You did
Yeah.
it while we were on the podcast. You bought the URL, forwarded it, and then what was that?
Those were the days, man.
That's when we could have fun.
Now I'm just out here trying to figure out where Elizabeth lives so I can call her.
I just want
I feel like I've narrowed it down, but is this Elizabeth? Do you watch Pluto TV?
I just think it's so perfectly us that, of course, we want to stand up for what we believe in.
Yep.
We want to back a candidate that, we want people to vote for.
Of course.
And that candidate, of course, reaches out to us and says, we'd love your help. That their organization reached out to us. So we love your help. We want you all to speak very eloquently and talk about why it's important to vote for Kamala Harris. And we want to take all that and boil it down and run it on Pluto TV at 2:00 in the morning so that Elizabeth, who probably has problems sleeping because she has to pee 15 to 16 times a night, she'll see it. And I don't know if that's doing us a disservice or if that is the target demographic for people whose minds and hearts we have to change.
Yeah.
Because part of me thinks maybe 50-50. I don't know.
I think it's just God's work no matter who gets the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're out there on the street corner with your sign, Jesus saves, you're just casting the wide net.
Yeah.
And we cast our net and we came up with Elizabeth. You know what I mean?
I want you to get her on the phone bad.
I mean, Craig, look.
I got to do the thing of like the hello, and I'm like, hello, you're on. Yeah, you are on. Do you agree to be recorded? You are on. We are recording right now.
I want everyone to understand. I want to understand. Greg's like on a website
This
that
is
tries
her.
to find people's
Good.
personal information.
Yep.
No way.
And
Found
that's-
him.
Should I call her?
I mean, how
Yeah,
hard is it
absolutely.
to find this person? And that's a.
Hey, I'm
pretty
a
essential last name.
representative from Pluto TV calling to see if you've been happy with your service as of late.
Yes.
No, I feel like this is one that
No.
goes too far. We get in trouble for.
This one could have some ramifications.
Unless
Plus, I
you
mean,
call in the other room, Raj,
Yeah.
and you say, "Hey, we're doing a podcast. We'd like to invite you on."
I love that. Get her on the phone, Raj. Yep.
The implications her saying something racist on air.
I
That's what
definitely
I
one
feel
of
is the
them.
there's
biggest risk
that.
at play
There's
here.
definitely that. There's also the implication of she is 74 years old, and I don't want
Shaking
anyone to
up her
think
world.
I don't want anyone to think we're like metaphorically beating up on the elderly. I don't want
jump.
I mean, like we're pretty smart, quick guys. we get someone that age on this,
Yeah.
and we're gonna dunk on her every fucking 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And I also just don't want that to blow back on Kamala in any way, shape, or form. You know,
You want to cost the election?
This is the thing. This is the thing that loses the election.
look,
Tomorrow, people are like, "Oh, you
Oh,
see the kind
man.
of funny podcast."
they're
Kamala's cronies went after a 74-year-old watcher. Trump's running ads immediately.
I mean,
Elizabeth.
stranger things have happened, man.
Oh my god.
We saw that Tony Hinchcliffe shit last week. That was wild.
God, you know what the funniest fucking thing is? Like, everyone's so desperate to demonize everybody.
Yeah.
If we did it, it would be a thing on
I'm
Fox
telling
News
you.
tomorrow morning.
I
I'm like,
guarantee you it would be.
San Francisco liberals harassing
these
74-year-old
woke
grandmother.
idiots.
I just wrote a thing about how I wasn't happy with Pluto
If you-
TV, and they called me live.
Everyone,
Oh my
please be
God.
nice to her. Don't
We're not going to call
don't
Elizabeth.
harass this woman.
We're not going to harass her. We're not going to call her.
Leave
We
her
are going to
be.
keep refreshing her inbox, hoping she
Yeah,
responds.
just in case. You never know. We're hoping for an email. She's gonna write you back.
Mike, give me a crazy story of you and an elderly woman.
I mean, there's me and the cat lady next door. I'm always taking care of the cat lady, Michelle. You know, neighbor Michelle. Take good care of her. She calls me. She says, "Mike, the heater's not working. I'm getting cold. You don't want me to freeze to death?" And I said, "Michelle, I would never want you to freeze to death. I'm gonna come up there. We're gonna check your heater." I show up. The heater's working. She has the front door wide open. So Michelle likes to run the heater, but have the front door open because she wants to see outside.
Got to see outside.
So, you know, it's kind of one of those, like, if we want it hot in here, we got to shut the door.
Did she understand that? Did that work for her?
Yeah, we kept the door open.
Oh, okay.
We just met in the middle. We just kept the running, you know, having some fun.
Sure. What's going
The
on?
hair.
Oh, he's got ego.
Yeah,
Mike's
you know,
admiring
I
Mike's
don't
hair.
quite know where we're going with the hair right now.
I'm
We're
going
for
up,
the,
Mike.
I
the
love it,
modern
man.
mullet, you know what I mean? So
It's
we're just
perfect.
rocking that.
It's perfect.
I told y'all, like, all of the month of October, I'm just going to let it grow. Maybe
So-
November again. Who knows?
Let me go in with you when you get it cut because I want to talk to these guys.
You want
these
to talk
two
to
brothers.
Rob?
I
We can
want-
do the podcast from the barbershop.
The
They would love
sides are
that.
perfect. I need them to take a little bit of the back down, like straighten it out, and
Okay,
keep the waterfall.
Yeah.
and it's gonna look hot. It's
Yeah.
gonna look real hot. It's been working.
Got a couple
You got a
dates,
power to this thing.
You
right
know what I
now.
mean? Like when people run their hands through my hair. Tim?
What the hell was that about?
I love you so much, Mike.
Just letting you know.
There's no energy like Snowbike Mike energy.
Oh,
He
I love hanging
comes
out
in
with
the
you guys.
building every day. The things that come out of this man's mouth, you can never predict. You think you understand him, and then he says something. You're just like, oh wow,
the best.
There's a new side to him.
Thank you.
You were like, if you take a piece of glass and you throw it on the ground, all of a sudden it has so many new sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all rough. They're all a little bit rougher.
They're sharp.
Yeah,
they
they
can
might
cut
hurt you.
Yeah, they might hurt you. Yeah.
But
Might
it's
do
so
something wrong.
pretty, you know.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That's a perfect example. It's like great.
Yeah, I'm always trying to account for Andy over his weekends. What is he playing? What's he doing? He's
I
thinking
feel like
about
what's
me.
funny with Andy
know
and
what I mean?
Mike is that the more docile Andy is, the more Mike has to compensate by being crazier.
Yeah, gotta wake him up a little bit, shake
Yeah.
him up. We're gonna hang out. It's gonna be a good time. I'm really
How
excited.
do we get a
about it.
sleepover going in Andy's room?
How can I HGTV decorate Andy's room? All I want to do is let him run a stream where me and Nick come into his room and we decorate his stream room. That's all I want. I want to just pretend like it's HGTV. I come in there, I demolish a little bit. You know what I mean?
So
Throw
where's this
some
come
things
from?
out.
Do you have a problem with Andy's stream setup?
Yeah, it's just plain. When I think of Andy, it should be
You know
more
what
than
we
just
should do?
plain. It's too plain. He's got a beanbag chair and a random string light. And it's like, okay, let me elevate this a little bit.
You know, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone, be cool. Don't tweet this at Andy. We run a contest where Andy, but it can't come from us.
Oh.
We have to run it as a side organization. Reaches out and says, like, what's the gaming chair that he likes? Spanx or whatever it
Labs?
is.
I don't know.
The cool gaming chair that looks like Spark Coach seats from a car. You know,
Like Secret Labs.
Secret Labs. So we reach out to our friends at Secret Labs and say, hey man, we want to deck out your thing, but it's got to be like a Pimp My Ride sort of HGTV thing. You're not gonna know. So we just need you out of your house for one day, and we come in. It's gonna be a big surprise. We run it right. He leaves, of course. It's gonna take some, a lot because Andy's very, very distrusting of us.
Yeah.
But if we can get him out of the house,
He loves going to hotels, though. So if we just said he's got a hotel,
Just gotta
we'll
get him
send
a
him to
hotel
RGV.
room.
We'll send him to RGV or whatever.
no, we can just send him to the Union Square. He'll be happy. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. He goes. He comes back. We recreate the KFAF set from the original studio. That's what he has to live with for the rest of his life because
I mean,
he's
I like
never
it.
going to take it down.
It's a good set.
Great set.
But you mean like in real life?
Yeah, like we do
Like
wood
with
paneling,
wood
paneling
Okay,
everywhere.
cool.
A staircase, a faux staircase that goes to nowhere.
I like that.
Like a Christmas tree that's just dead over in the corner.
Good.
And Kevin's just
Yeah.
going to be there.
This is a good idea.
The
Kevin
whole
lives
deal.
there now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that, Nick.
Thanks.
I might do that. Start crafting an email. Get ready. It's right.
Don't you do it. It'll be see through it if it's a Mike email coming.
Because
your
it'll
way.
start with Slappy. You won something.
Slappy, you won big.
He'll chat GPT it. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
That's a good point, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point, I guess.
God.
Okay.
What a fun podcast.
Still wearing these shorts, huh?
I love them. I think you got great legs.
How many shorts do you own?
One.
Okay.
One pair of shorts.
Well, I mean, that I wear outside. I have like swim
it's
trunks.
It's
I
just
have
that
3 swim trunks.
your Italian comes out when you wear shorts.
Just a little.
Just a little. And what I mean by that is like, I don't know if you have a lot of Italian uncles or if you've had Italian uncles,
Yeah.
but all of my Italian uncles, at a certain point, every Italian man turns into the same man. They just do, right? You could be tall, you could be short, you could be skinny, you could whatever. But at a certain point, you just turn around, and once you hit 60 years old,
Yeah.
you are the same fucking like carbon copy Italian guys. Little hair's a little gone, they're a little shorter than you want to be. You know what I mean? And they always got just a little, like the shorts that look like your coach from football
Yeah.
in high school
Yeah.
that are just a little ridden up, and they're always sitting. You never see them standing. They don't move. They're there, and there's always a plate of gabagool right next to them. Tim's got that vibe right now.
That's so many things that I don't think that I would apply to me at all.
He's got that vibe right now of just being over it. Like he's been there. He doesn't care
a little
anymore.
short, losing his hair, gabagool.
You know what I mean? Like he's got an Italian.
There's a power to the shorts, and like the way he's drinking out of the cup right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, he's
the-
smacking his
the
lip- he's smacking his
the
lips.
chain.
Like
He's sitting in a chair that's reminiscent of like the recliner.
It reminds me of when I used to go into my Uncle Danny's deli in,
Yep.
in Riverside, California,
Oh,
by
that
the
sounds
Tyler Mall.
awesome.
He used to run a deli, and every time I'd go in,
What was it
there-
called?
I actually forget. I think it was Lamola's.
Okay.
I think that was his last name. It was my grandmother's maiden name, so that would have been his last name. Could be wrong, but I think it was Lamola's Deli. It's no longer there, unfortunately. Now it's like a pawn shop, or it used to be a JJ King of Beavers. I digress. I think it's a skate shop now. Anyway, it's by the Tyler Mall. And I used to go in, and I used to love it because you walk in and have that deli smell,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Cold
that
cuts.
bread and cold cuts. And I would always look around, and there would never be anything on the shelves. It'd be like maybe a box of pasta, like we're talking Italian, so it wasn't like a little bit. It was like this is where Italian moms would go to get their stuff, right? And he would always cut me off a couple slices, whatever. When Nikki wants to make me a little sandwich, something like that. And I remember thinking, like later in life, I was like, I don't know, how does he make money? Because there's never anything in this place. And then I would look around the corner, and there'd be like a little table, a couple phones.
Yeah.
And my mom eventually was like, he was a bookie.
Bookie.
Yeah, he was a bookie. He used to take
Like that.
bets for people.
Hell yeah.
But that's what Tim has, that energy of like every time I'd go back there, they would look at me, and they would be like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this kid right now. And they'd smack their lips, and they would talk amongst themselves, adult shit, and they would like, get out, go do your thing, go do your thing.
I can see it.
Who can relate?
Fucking Jesus Christ.
That was crazy.
It was the cheers. It was the cheers that got me. It was the
I've never
cheers.
seen you laugh this hard.
Just no defense. Fucking
Holy shit.
hell.
This was a good one. This was a good episode.
Oh
of this
my
podcast.
God, ladies and gentlemen and NBs, it's been another Kind of Funny podcast for your listening and viewing pleasure. If you had a good time, please pick up the Kind of Funny membership. $10 gets you all the shows ad-free, the ability to watch shows like this in the afternoon live as we record them, and of course, your daily dose of me in a series we call Greg Way. No bucks tossed our way, no big deal. You can get a new episode of the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Special shout out to our #1 Spotify listener, Cole the Wiener Dog.
Whoa.
Yeah, because again, he still has the separation anxiety,
Ah.
so
Love
we still
that.
play every time. So he, if he could, would vote for Kamala Harris because he
Wow.
listened.
Yes.
He was a lot of time alone last week, so
Yeah.
he listened to that episode a lot.
Lots,
So
yep.
we spiked the numbers on that. And
liked it
Cole,
a
you're a
lot.
very good dog. We'll be home soon. For the rest of you, we'll have more content soon because we're all about live talk shows. So please like, subscribe, and share. And know that until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. Who can relate?
Who can
Unbelievable.
relate?